My name is Miguel Melendez. I am based in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I'm very excited to be here with all of you. We know that these are very difficult days around the world, but one of the things that is still going on, that is still giving continuity to our children, is education. So I know that you may be home perhaps, but that you are still teaching your students via long distance, and we really commend you for your dedication. One of the things that's also going on, of course, is planning for the future. Hopefully, by the time the fall comes around, we'll all be back to normal, or a new normal, perhaps. And one of the things we have to consider is how we will shape the curriculum going forward, and how we will be educating our students. So we wanted to talk to you today about not only early childhood education, but how we can use theme-based learning to enrich the curriculum. Early childhood education is one of the areas that's really growing in importance around the entire world. Um, we know that receiving quality education when you're 3, 4, 5 years old, especially, is an early predictor of success, not only in school, but in life. We can give our children a strong foundation that is academic and engaging. Their outcomes in life will really just be that much better. So it's very important to focus in this time, and especially plan a curriculum that is very engaging for students. Of course, we have a big challenge, right? There is currently no consistent uh, benchmarks for early childhood education. Um, there are very few international guidelines that everyone is using. So schools really have a challenge. And the question is, how can you create a curriculum that balances academic learning and student engagement? And when I say academic learning, I mean giving the children the skills that they need for primary school, and student engagement. Of course, let's face it, means fun. These are very, very young humans, and we have to take that into account. We have to give them an environment, give them an education, an experience that they will love, so that they don't get burned out, right? We don't want a 4 year old, a 5 year old to be dreading going to school, because that's not going to be a positive outcome later, right? We have to get them to fall in love with education now. So this is really a big challenge, because most educators around the world are coming up with their own curriculum, and this is something that we know everyone is doing. So we find that the best way to really structure your curriculum easily is to use a theme-based approach. And I will be discussing this now more in depth, and using an example from some of Scholastic's programs to help you better understand what we mean by a theme-based approach. So basically, a theme-based approach has a lot of benefits. And basically, this means that you are creating a calendar throughout the school year in which you are moving through different units of learning. And one of the great benefits of this is that it's a very flexible way of structuring a curriculum. Uh, with very young children, especially, there's always a very wide range of skills, right? Some kids are coming in from a home that is uh, very academic. They're getting a lot of support. Some kids are coming into school without any knowledge. Um, and also, if we consider the fact that we're all aiming to teach these kids English, right? There's going to be a lot of very different skills in that arena as well, and also a lot of different structures. So some schools only teach English once a week, right? And some of you are teaching English every day, maybe for an hour, maybe for 4 or 5 hours. So this will give you consistency, especially as you're integrating a second or a third language. You're also going to have consistency across classrooms. You don't want for one teacher to have a great curriculum and then another classroom, the teacher has come up with something else. So theme-based learning allows you to do that. Another very important part of theme-based learning is that it accommodates the gradual release of responsibility model. If you have attended some of our other webinars on early childhood education, you know that this is one of the approaches that we recommend. And to really summarize it, it basically means that all the learning starts with the teacher and then goes to a small group session, and then we move on to independent learning. So think of it as I do, the teacher doing for the students modeling, we do, we have a scaffolded moment, and then you do is the student finally taking ownership of that learning. So through a theme, you're able to integrate the gradual release of responsibility model as well, and transition kids from learning about the theme initially from the teacher, and then finally to owning the learning themselves. A very important part of early childhood education is, of course, local content and activities. So if you're getting a full curriculum from a company that's, you know, like your entire instruction, it's going to be difficult to incorporate local content, activities, holidays. So if you have theme-based learning, you can have a theme that is local culture, for example, or the national holiday. Most countries have a week or a 2-week period in which they are celebrating their themselves. So this is really, you know, that should be a theme. That's like sort of like I would say the kickoff point is, when is that happening? How can I integrate what's happening locally so that kids are learning about that as well? Learning centers can also be integrated. So the great thing about a theme is that the learning is changing throughout the year, right? So we're not doing the same kinds of activities all the time. So as you integrate learning centers, where it be a science center, a play center, whatever learning center you want to do, it's very organic, right? The kids are not expecting to be doing these activities all the time because they know that every time the theme changes, the activities will change. So that allows you to get into the world of learning centers in a very organic way. It's also easier to customize the curriculum on the go, right? I think a situation like what we're living through right now really illustrates for us that we sometimes need to customize the curriculum. If you have a book that you're following from beginning to end, it can feel strange to interrupt that sequence. But themes allow you to do that. In Puerto Rico, we have, you know, frequent hurricanes. So I know of educators who have a hurricane theme kind of ready to go. And if something is coming, they're able to move to those activities, get the kids ready, and then have activities set up for when they're going to be home and activities set up for when they come back. So whatever situation happens, having a theme allows you to account for it and doesn't feel as much as a disruption to the students, because they know that the themes are going to change throughout the year, and they will be expecting these changes. Finally, it's very exciting and engaging to kids because we are changing the stimulus, we're changing the kinds of activities, we're changing the learning as we move through the year. It's not a situation in which you're showing up to school and then you're just doing the same kinds of things throughout. So let's look more deeply into how these benefits are deployed in the real world, let's say. And a great thing is that most programs from publishers like Scholastic cover very similar themes. So if you are adopting this approach, it allows you to take different pieces of programs from companies to supplement and enhance what you're doing, right? So we definitely recommend having your curriculum that is structured, and a theme-based approach allows you to draw from different perspectives. So what are the very common themes? Most programs will start with me or my body, right? We want kids to learn about themselves, about their bodies in the world. Then we move on to the family usually, the community. And if you see the learning in themes usually starts very small with the child, and then we're extending to what they know, the family, to what they're familiar with, the community, and then finally the world. So it's like some sort of from my internal self to the entire world around me is how we're progressing the learning. Other very common themes, nature and seasons. This allows us to get into science, changes. I think seasons is a great metaphor for that. Transportation is a very common theme as well. Kids love trucks and all these kinds of big machines that they see in the world. So it's a great way of incorporating nonfiction content. Animals, another great science nonfiction that kids love. And then finally, most programs or some programs will have a theme about transitioning out of preschool, whether you're a 4-year-old transitioning to elementary school. It's great to prepare kids to what they're going to do. So these themes that you see here, you're going to find some version of them in most programs. And I definitely recommend, if you are having, as you're picking your themes, these are a great way to start. I just saw a note from someone who couldn't hear. Don't worry, we're going to be sending out a recording of the webinar to everyone. So if you're having audio issues, you will be able to have the presentation and the recording. So let's say you're interested in themes. The first thing you should do is ask yourself, what themes am I going to use? You need to structure your entire school calendar, depending on how long it is, and pick your themes. And for this, I definitely want you to ask yourself this question: why reinvent the wheel? I've spoken to so many educators around the world who are, especially when they're teaching 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, they are basically going on Google and inventing or creating their whole curriculum. This is great. It's so much work. So I definitely recommend that you look for a foundational program, a foundational approach, and then you build your curriculum from that to customize it to your school and to your interests and to your strengths as an educator. But don't reinvent the wheel. It exists and it's great. So I'm going to be, the wheel that I am working from today is a Scholastic program called Cozy Corner. This is not a full preschool curriculum. This is a theme-based program that can serve as the foundation for your early childhood curriculum. So this is not a prescriptive, morning to afternoon program. It is a program that is a read aloud program. So that is the main foundation of Cozy Corner. It is early literacy, read aloud resources, and getting kids to fall in love with stories and give them early reading and writing skills. So Cozy Corner has 10 themes. So this is what I mean, right? If you have a program like this, you already have 10 themes that you're starting from. This can serve as your jumping off point. It combines language and literacy learning with social and emotional development. So those are sort of the two foundations of Cozy Corner. It's language and social and emotional. It doesn't cover math. It doesn't cover social studies, although there's a little bit of that. So that's what I mean, that it's a great foundation program. Cozy Corner, it's meant to be used, between 20 and maybe 40 minutes a day. So, that takes care of your English literacy part, and then you can continue building the curriculum around that as you use the program. The great thing about Cozy Corner is that it has authentic literature, and this is a term that publishers use to describe books that already exist in the world. So we're going to see some of these books. It's a lot of classic literature, and that's a big plus because that's always more engaging to students. And it also features a lot of hands-on play, activities, music, and movement. So the great thing about this is that you're doing literacy, but it's very fun, it's very engaging, and we're going to see some of that. So to give you an idea, right? So let's say I have a theme. theme 1. This theme is called Up, Down, and All Around. And I really want you to, this is how we are launching the theme. So this is the focus of this theme. It says the books in this theme focus on moving around and help celebrate children's own growing physical abilities. So this is the focus of the theme. We should always have a focus. If you see here, skills focus, what vocabulary am I focusing on? What's my print awareness? What's my motivation? What's my social and emotional component? So these are areas you should always have as you're creating your themes. If you see here where it says launch the theme, it says introduce the poster. And that's because this program comes with different posters that you're putting up in the classroom every time you begin a new theme. And this is the first tip I'm going to give you. Whatever themes you're using, always change some decorative aspect of your classroom to anchor the theme and build excitement. The posters in Cozy Corner have a lot of visual cues and embedded vocabulary that you can refer to as you are doing activities and discussing this. So always think about, it's a new theme, how am I changing something in my classroom, right? We are adding excitement, we are getting kids situated in that there's been a shift in our learning. So that is a tip that you should use whatever themes you pick. So to go a little bit further into the program, as you see here, it says use position words. So this is sort of the literacy focus of this particular theme, is teaching kids position words. So that means under, over, between. These blue, that blue set of words, that's like a suggested script. I really love this activity. I mentioned that movement is one of the things we do in the program. So look at this activity. Work together to plan an obstacle course for children to complete during outdoor time. So this is a great way of doing an activity that's going to be a lot of fun for kids, that's going to get them moving and will apply the literacy skills that we are teaching them. Our social emotional focus is pride in accomplishment. So that's a very concrete way for children to feel accomplishment, right, when they finish the obstacle course you've put together. And if you see here, the last bullet, it says, ask families or community members to support with translations and post these words in a position words chart. So 2 more tips when you're putting your themes together. First of all, what hands-on activities can you include? You should always think of activities that will get the kids up and moving around the classroom, doing something in a learning center. Always ask yourself, what is my hands-on activity for this theme? And also, how can you incorporate families? It could be something as simple as this, as asking families for help with translations of a local language. But this is very critical. The school-home connection in early childhood is really one of the predictors of a successful program. So the great thing about Cozy Corner, I mentioned authentic literature, right? So for every theme, we have a big book, and then we have 2 different read aloud books. These are all classic titles. And we also have a music CD, we have the poster. And really, when you pick your themes, and this is an area where I've talked to a lot of people who have put together some really great themes and activities, but then they're lacking when it comes to integrating literature. So always ask yourself, how can I make a book, a fiction or a nonfiction book, the foundation of my theme? How can I expose children to more read alouds, to more fun books that they will fall in love with? Always ask yourself this question and try to get that as the foundation of the program. The spine should always be basically as many books as possible. So for example, here we're reading, the big book is Itsy Bitsy Spider. So the spider is searching far and wide before finding a safe space to spin her web. And we do this classic finger play. You guys, probably heard this song, the Itsy Bitsy Spider climbed up the water spout, etc., etc. So we teach the kids a finger play that represents a spider. And then we do the read aloud, and this is something you should always do. You should always have activities for after you read aloud, right? What questions are you going to ask the kids as you're reading, after you're reading? And then also, what different activities can I do when I reread the book? So every book that you introduce into your theme, you should read 2 or 3 times with different activities to get the kids to better comprehend the book, but also to you know, enjoy it. Kids love to hear great literature again and again and again. And another tip, once you have your structure, right? So you have chosen, for example, this example we're using, we do the read aloud, then we answer questions, and then we do a finger play activity, right? So once you have your structure, extend that same structure with different books. So, for example, in this theme, we then read Ruby in Her Own Time, and we start again with a song, we start with a finger play, and then our third reading would be Rosie's Walk by Pat Hutchins. So it's pretty, that just makes it easier on you, right? Remember, don't reinvent the wheel. Once you have a structure that works for your literature, you can repeat that again as you move through your theme. And kids will appreciate knowing what's going to happen, right? So they know it's story time. We're all going to gather around the teacher. She's going to read the book. We're going to answer questions, and we're going to do similar activities. That's very soothing for children in a way, because it gets them situated in what's going to happen in that particular activity. So do something similar, but with different readings. So I mentioned this theme, up, down, and all around. And the focus of the theme is discovering the ways we move, vocabulary, position words. Our print awareness lesson is understanding that written words have meaning. The print motivation, the activities we're doing are to get kids to enjoy books. And then our social emotional development is pride and accomplishment. So for this theme, once you have it set, you could ask yourself, how can I extend this theme, right? So if you have a program like Cozy Corner, I mentioned that's like about, maybe 45 minutes of learning. How can I extend this existing theme? So I just came up with some ideas. For example, you could do a social studies lesson with traffic signs, because we're talking about moving and the obstacle course. If you're doing a math lesson, you could do something about the shapes of traffic signs and introduce kids to all of that academic language. For science, you could do spiders, other insects. For arts and crafts, you could make spiders out of modeling clay. So as you can see, it's once you have your basic theme, it's a lot easier to extend it. For physical education, obstacle course, you could do it in the gym, so it's like a bigger thing. You're integrating that teacher. Also, digital resources are very important. So how can we integrate a digital resource? And Scholastic has a separate program called Bookflix that you might have heard about, and it's basically pairing fiction and nonfiction books. So with this theme in mind, I went into Bookflix, and as you can see, we have a lot of different themes already in Bookflix. They're kind of similar to what you find in Cozy Corner. So I went into the animals and nature theme because I really love the Itsy Bitsy Spider. And then as I was looking through all of the books in Bookflix, Rosie's Walk is an animated book in Bookflix, and that's one of the books that we're reading in Cozy Corner. And this is another benefit of using authentic literature, is that these books are classics and publishers use them. So you may find that a book that you're choosing already has more resources in the world that you can draw upon. So then in Bookflix, you would watch this animation of Rosie's Walk, and then you could read, and the program reads this out loud for younger kids, a nonfiction book about a chick growing up. So just to give you a quick example, we have another theme in Cozy Corner called Munch a Bunch. And as you can see, these names are very funny. They're very alliterative. So we want kids to be excited about this. So Munch a Bunch sounds a lot better about food, right? If your theme is called food, you're okay, that's nice. But if it's called Munch a Bunch, the kids are going to be a lot more excited about that. So this theme is about foods. Our language and literacy skill is we're learning food words. We are doing comprehension activities between fiction and nonfiction. Print awareness is about enjoying books. And then social development is about personal preferences. What better way to talk about personal preferences than through food? And then to extend this theme, I just thought, you could do a lesson about the importance of nutrition. Again, this is getting into social studies a little bit. It's very easy to then talk about national foods, dishes. You could do a cooking lesson with your students. You could introduce the concept of fractions actually through your cooking lesson. You could invite families to share their favorite foods. So from that Munch a Bunch theme, you can really just have a lot of fun activities that you are creating based on this foundation. And then I went into Bookflix again, thinking about what digital book could I find for my nutrition lesson, and I found this great book, Chato's Kitchen, which is about this cat that's cooking. And then actually, see, the nonfiction book is called Math in the Kitchen. So if you do your cooking lesson, this book is perfectly situated in that well. So as I said, Cozy Corner has 10 themes. We're going to send this out to you so you'll be able to see. But just glance at the titles. Beep, beep, vroom. That's a great theme. Splish, splash is the name of our nature theme. So always pick names for your themes that are very creative, that are very fun. Engagement is really important. And a great way, if you're creating your own theme, always think about it this way. What is my language and literacy skill focus? What is my social and emotional skill focus? And then you can extend, right? You could say, what is my math focus? What is my science focus? What is my arts focus? And that's going to give you a much more structured approach that will be academic. These are the other 5 themes: Jump for Joy, Snap, Crackle, Moo, Imagine That, Bears. I really like that. It's really fun. So you just have your grid and then extend it once you have your basic foundation in place. Another very important part is to not forget writing and home extension activities. Writing is very critical. I think we're seeing that more and more as kids are more being taken care of by iPads and phones and tablets, right? We see that maybe their dexterity is not what it should be when they get to primary school. So it's very important to have writing activities. So we often think about workbooks as just tracing letters and numbers maybe. So I want to go very quickly a little bit more deeper into what are the 7 areas to consider. You should think about print motivation. You want kids to enjoy books. And a good way of thinking about this is this book attractive to a child? Is the cover attractive? Are the colors attractive? Are they motivated by the text they're seeing because we want them to be interested in the book? Another one is print awareness. What kind of activities are in the book that convey that print has meaning? It's not just lines that I'm making. Alphabet knowledge, of course, this is what most books cover, right? It's tracing the vocabulary, stuff like that. So that does help develop sound letter correspondence. You should also have phonological awareness activities. You should have comprehension skills, describing, recounting events, telling and retelling stories. You should have vocabulary, of course, activities that kids are learning new vocabulary words through the workbook, and then social emotional skills. So are there all of these types of activities, are they all included in the workbook? And you might think, well, these kids are 4, maybe they're 5. How much writing are they really doing? But a well-designed workbook will have activities that develop all of these. Again, to give you an idea, Cozy Corner has 2 different workbooks. So just to show you, these are internal pages. So you can see on the left, this is a social emotional activity. How do these friends feel? Happy, sad, and then they have to look at the illustration. Of course, a child might need an adult supporting them to this. So that's why there's a learning tip in the bottom for a parent or for a teacher to support them. and then retelling the story. See, once you have read the story with the teacher, then you can just draw what's happening, the beginning, the middle, and the end. So a good workbook will be able to give you activities that are age appropriate, but that are covering a wide range of skills. So it's not only tracing the alphabet, basically, which is what happens a lot of the times. So if you want to get started with theme-based learning, I just want to give you a few tips to wrap up. First thing you need to do is choose your themes and decide the order. Look at your school calendar. You know, most schools have about 40 weeks of instruction. You have to deduct holidays, school activities, and then really figure out how much time do you have, instructional time do you have. Choose the topics, the themes that you want to do, and then decide the order. Remember, if you need to change the order as you're going, it's fine, because that's the beauty of theme-based learning, is that it gives us that flexibility. We're not just following one thick workbook or textbook. The next part is the difficult part, right? It's gathering the resources, creating your lesson plans. But I definitely recommend that you have a foundational program, something like Cozy Corner or something similar that will give you the beginning, right? You're not inventing the wheel the entire way through. As you are creating your curriculum, ask yourself, what books are you integrating? You should have a lot of fun, language-rich fiction and nonfiction books that you can read aloud to your students. That should really, that is very, very critical. So every theme, you should have at least 3 or 4 books that are your anchors. Are you creating activities across the curriculum? So think about math, think about social studies, think about art, think about music. Am I doing all kinds of activities? You don't have to do every single activity for every theme, but as the year goes by, you should be exposing kids to as many activities across the curriculum as you can. How are local holiday celebrations and culture being incorporated? This is very important too. You want the kids to feel like school reflects their life, and you should be incorporating as many of these activities as possible. Finally, how long is each theme? How long do you expect to be doing it? I definitely recommend not going over an entire calendar month with one theme, because remember, we want that excitement. So at the very least, you should have between 8 and 10 themes. And then also, how long are the activities that you're planning for each student? You know, when kids are 4 or 5, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's kind of the top of how long they can be doing something. So watch out for the pacing of the theme and of the activities in general. Then once you have it, edit for fun and creativity. Think of being 5 years old and being a very small human and being put in a classroom full of strangers, and think of how much fun would make it easier for you. So always do an edit for fun, creativity. Can we call these activities something else? Can we do something that's hands-on? Can we do something that incorporates music? And then that will really take it to the next level. Once you have your themes, as you are announcing the class calendar, you know, wherever the school shares the class calendar, make sure that you announce that the theme is coming up. You want parents to be aware of it. You want kids to get excited. You want to advertise your theme, basically. So make sure that you're communicating to the school community that you are changing themes. Then communicate to families. So you want parents to know that on that Monday or that Sunday, we're going to start a new theme, and they have to get ready for the excitement. And then finally, decorate to announce the theme and anchor instruction. There should be at least one bulletin board in your classroom that changes every time you change the theme, because that visual stimulus is very important to kids. And as I mentioned, it can be an anchor to the learning by having something that you're referring to for the activities that you'll be doing. So I mentioned Cozy Corner. We can send you more information about this. It's 10 themes and has lessons for those themes. It includes music, it includes the big books, read aloud books, and then it also has workbooks available if you're interested in workbooks. So you may want to consider this as your foundational theme structure for your program. And then from there, you enhance in whatever way you want to do it. I also mentioned BookFlix, which is our online resource. We're actually giving access to BookFlix for free now for an entire month. So if you are looking for an academic program that's fun, that's 100% digital for your students, in the email that you're going to get in the next 24 hours, there's going to be information about how to set up a free access to BookFlix for an entire month. So I definitely recommend, if you are interested in something digital, if you want to give kids access to books at home, sign up for BookFlix and you can use it now for free for the next month. So thank you very much. We are going to take a few minutes for questions. If you have any, you're also really welcome to email me or Alyssa or Brian after the presentation, and we will gladly answer any questions you might have.
Great, thank you so much, Mayel. That was fantastic. Are there any questions that anyone has for Miguel or for myself about theme-based learning or any of our other pre-K curriculum programs as well? Oh, Miguel, one question just came in. Is the music downloadable or is it only on CD?
The music in Cozy Corner, it comes in 10 CDs that are physical CDs, but these are CDs that you can actually burn into your computer and upload it into your whatever music program you're using, iTunes, Windows Media Player. So it is a physical CD, but you can very easily digitize it.
Great, thank you. And then there was a question around rights, which we will make sure your sales representative is aware of. There's a question about rights in Saudi Arabia. So we will flag that for your sales representative and we'll make sure you get the answer to that.
Yes.
Okay, another question. If I work with 15 kids, how many packs would I need to purchase?
You only need one pack of Cozy Corner because Cozy Corner is it's a whole group program. So the activities are created so that you could do with 15 kids. You would be reading the book to everyone, and then kids are working in groups for the activities. If you do use the workbooks, you would need one set of work for every child because the workbooks are consumable. But for Cozy Corner, this is it's a whole class program.
Great, thank you. And then another question came through asking if the books can be downloaded from BookFlix. So the books from BookFlix are only available in a web-based format, so they can't be downloaded, but the program can be used anytime, anywhere with an internet connection. It's tablet and mobile phone compatible, and an unlimited number of students can read the same book at once. So if you, for instance, wanted them all to read Happy Birthday Moon as part of a unit you were doing, everybody can access the same book. There's no maximum number of checkouts or times that a book can be read simultaneously. Okay, and then another question coming through, what is the new in Cozy?
What is the new in Cozy?
Cozy. I think that would refer to the workbooks that are new in the program. So these workbooks are brand new, and they're incredibly charming and just really fun, engaging workbooks. I had the chance to show one to my nephew over video, and he just immediately thought the characters were really fun and wanted to know when I could send him one. So I thought that was a really good piece of feedback. But that's the new piece in Cozy Corner. There's a question that came through about the number of themes, 10 themes or one. how many themes are in the program?
Yeah, there are 10 themes in Cozy Corner. And the beauty of the structure of the program is that you can use the themes in whatever order you want. So you have 10 themes. As I said, it's about 20 minutes of activities per day. So this could be your English oral language program foundation. And then you add the workbook. And that should take you through the entire year if you're doing sort of one literacy lesson per day. And we'll send you in the presentation, you'll be able to see that grid with all of the themes and the different focuses that they cover.
Mm-hmm. And then I've seen a few questions come through about training and the availability of training. That's certainly something that can be delivered virtually by one of our Scholastic experts, and something that we can work with you and your local representative on to figure out what your needs are and to customize that for you. But yes, training would certainly be something we could help you with.
And the program, it also comes with a very easy to use program guide. So aside from all of your lesson plans for the themes, you have a program guide that we walk you through and help you better understand how to use it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, another question that came in. Do the platforms does the internet platform have another cost, or is it included in the Cozy Corner pack? So they are separate programs. You can purchase them individually. You can also purchase them together. As Miguel noted, they complement each other really well. And certainly your rep again can work with you on figuring out the right combination of that and making sure you have the package that works for you. Another question, Miguel, that came through, is there anything similar for primary students, perhaps up to grade 6?
Okay, let me think about that. So, BookFlix, actually, we recommend up to grade 3. In terms of a read aloud program like this that extends beyond, I can't think of anything that we have right now. But the great thing about theme-based learning is that, it is something you could do with any age. And what we could do is we could actually work with you. If you have themes that you're interested in, we can actually recommend books to you that would be good read aloud books, and help you structure your program in that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we do have a similar digital program that's called TrueFlix. That's great for students in about grades 3 to grade 6. And like BookFlix, it has paired videos and ebooks. TrueFlix is actually completely nonfiction, and it is organized by theme. So that could be one option that, as Miguel noted, could be paired with customized book lists that we help you to put together based on what the themes are in your curriculum. And another question that just came through, how far will it help kindergarten children in reading?
I think very far, especially if you're using the workbooks. It will depend on how much English instruction you're giving them all around, how much time they're getting every day. But definitely, kids will learn the entire alphabet. They will learn hundreds of vocabulary words. They will be writing. So I feel very confident that a child that's using this program and this approach consistently will learn a significant amount of English.
I agree. And we also just got another question coming in. They said, so great training. This is their first time. How often can we have such trainings? I really appreciate hearing this. As Miguel noted, we are aware that these are challenging times, and we are really focused on finding ways to get information out to educators that's helpful and that's relevant. And we are looking at increasing the frequency of these types of sessions over the next 2 weeks and months. So we will certainly keep all of you in the loop on additional webinars that we schedule, and I'm really happy to hear that you found this to be useful. Okay, I think we are set with questions. I just noticed one more coming in. If we have a representative in Honduras, we have a fantastic representative in that region, and we will make sure that everybody on this call is connected with their Scholastic representative. So they will be able to connect with you and understand what your needs are and put together packages and trainings and everything that you could possibly need to use this program successfully. So look for emails coming from them in the next few days. As Miguel mentioned, don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any other questions you think of. Thank you so much for attending and for your participation. We really appreciate it. And I hope to see all of you on another Scholastic session soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.